Hello, y'all. How are you doing? I am Devon Celia. I'm so glad to see you. The message I got today. Okay. There's a set of cards that I have. I don't know what it is. It shows me the whole picture. And I'm like, wow. And I'm blown away. So we're going to get to that. First, I want to say thank you and show gratitude to how grateful I am for you stepping foot into my domain and sharing time and space with me. I greatly appreciate that. And I also greatly appreciate the fact that you listen to my journey, understanding that it is my journey, but there are certain things we all experience on our journeys. And I'm just so grateful that you tune in, you like, you subscribe, you share it sometimes, you comment. Thank you. Because that helps start a conversation, that helps build a community, that helps us be open and honest with each other. And so I'm so honored and I'm grateful to you. And I don't say it enough, and I don't. So I wanted to make sure I did that this time. So I wanted to talk about, I want to call it a lie. But I'm going to say, I want to talk about the misconception of divine unions. Okay? And I want to relate it to why right now we're being called for hours. And there's a specific reason why we're being called for hours. We're being called for hours because either our twin broke the contract or it was rendered null and void, and we still have contracts to satisfy and to fulfill. And we have to do that. And so that is what's being replayed at this time. That's why we have romance coming in at this time. We're going to get there. Okay? So, we're going to take this back to discuss and look at the real purposes behind the sacred union. And I have my notes. And the twin flame journey. Is not what you think. It's not what you think at all. So, I got this download from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. And doing the cards and looking at the whole picture. This is something that repeats every system over and over again. There's lies embedded in it. There's deceit and deception that's embedded in it. All I'm going to say is look at this past third-party situation. And for some of you, how your counterpart was acting. Okay? See who exhibited more masculine energy and who exhibited more feminine energy. You can be a male, and exude more feminine energy. Sorry, my brain is going too fast. Or you can be a female, exuding more masculine energy. You understand what I'm saying? So this is going to be more about the play of those energies. Okay? So the first part is the masculine and feminine wound together. For centuries, for eons, the masculine energy has dishonored and disrespected the female energy. Creation happens between masculine and feminine energy, not one entity. Okay? Whether you want to call them eons or gods or whatever the hell you want to call them, there's a masculine and a feminine energy. Okay? That co-creates. That's what co-creates with each other. And even if it is within a being, it is still two sides. Okay? It is never just one. So, the masculine has always taken the dominant stance over the feminine. It has always discounted nurturing, discounted and disrespected the more softer approach to things. Well, the masculine has always been more brash, right? More, we don't need to listen to you, but where do the wars start? Now, they may start over a woman. Who's starting them over a woman? The masculine energy and their need to control, have, and grasp. That's not feminine energy. I want you to understand something. If you take it back to the Gnostic text of Adam and Eve, okay, feminine, even if you take it back to Lilith, the feminine was always created already knowing. But no one has asked that question, why? It's a very important question. Why is it the feminine energy is born knowing while the male energy has to be taught the love and the nurturing? But it never respects it from the feminine. Why? That's the question. Everyone brushes it off, but no one asks why. Why? That's important. So to restore the balance, okay, get out the notes. To restore the balance, the masculine energy is required to flow, not force, to walk through karma with humility, to embrace faith, breath, balance, and synchronicity, to align. They have to align. Chakras and meridians, auric field, they have to be in alignment before they can even return back to the feminine energy, before they can even apologize to the feminine energy. And hence why you got a lot of third-party shit going on in the collective right now that's dealing with a masculine not choosing the right feminine energy, but choosing instead to stay in their masculine energy because they feel that they know better. And let me have you understand something. Fate, since I don't know when, has been trying to get this male energy out of the materialism. This is what the male energy gets stuck on, is the materialism, not the female. The female is stuck on love. Okay? This has been replayed lifetimes after lifetimes after lifetimes, and the male energy is the one that has still not learned, still not got it right, because it refuses to acknowledge the feminine counterpart as being equally important. Yet it is. Not only does it keep it in balance, the feminine represents flow. Let me tell you something. Flow, karma, faith, breath, balance, and synchronicity, those are all and mostly feminine, right? Flow is definitely feminine. That's moon energy. Okay? Faith, breath, balance. Those are all twin things. Flow is give and take. Karma, cause and effect, right? Faith, give and take. Breath, in and out. Balance, good and bad, whatever you want to call it. Those are all opposing and flow things. The synchronicity is the one thing that's the intuition thing. And that's the intuition just to know I'm seeing the signs, I'm on the right path, I'm doing okay. Because if you don't have anyone telling you if you are, and you don't know, then you got to trust in your intuition, right? The feminine has been deserted and must decide whether or not to trust the masculine energy again, or start anew with a different one. Many have, okay? So, but they have to learn to trust again from power and love, not pain. That's the test for both. She has to reclaim her own inner authority that the masculine energy keeps pushing down on. See, the feminine energy has been pushed down on so much that the feminine has started to question whether or not there's any validity at all in what we do and how we are. And so what did the female energy do? Harden themselves to be more like the masculine energy. We can't play their game. We cannot play their game. We are not whole when we play their game. I know, been there and done that. I get it. I know. So, there has to be a coming together. The male energy has to apologize to the female energy. and this is globally speaking, they have to acknowledge the importance of her. She is never left out of the equation, because all brute force with no understanding, no reasoning, no not knowing when to pull back, when to nurture, when to use that force. How are you going to win a battle with one side of the fucking equation? That's all I'm going to ask, and I'm going to leave it alone. So, the purpose of the twin flames. Twin flames is not a fantasy. It's not just for romance. It's not always for romance. Nope. They're a mission. I want you to think of something, and I'm trying to express this as clear as I can. Why else would something try to come in and disband the twin flame unions? The twin flame unions represent and are an example of the co-creator gods, male, masculine, and feminine. Inanna and Enki, if you want to say that. Okay? But Inanna was first. Interesting, huh? Equally interesting as a side note, Lilith, if the story is true, was created outside of Adam. She had her own mind. Gnostic text, Eve was created from rib of Adam, but she still had her own mind. Just gonna leave that right there. Okay, so the twin flames are here to rebuild the divine trust through vulnerability and truth. What does that mean? Rebuild the trust that was broken between the masculine and the feminine energy. Okay? To heal that. That's one thing. Now, the next, to practice Tantra. Tantra is the practice of the twin flames and the divine unions. When Tantra came to me, it said an elevated form of energy movement from one to another, from one being to another in a union, right? That generates energy together to enlightenment, true connection, true building. It's kind of like in Ghostbusters where you said you don't cross the streams and you end up having to cross the streams to get rid of that thing. That's what the twin flame is crossing the streams. Okay? Being conduits of healing for the world through their love, through their union, lighting the world through their flame. Okay? Crossing streams of energy. Sorry about that. So, of course, they're going to break them up if they don't want you to awaken to the truth. Because you can't fake energy. Okay? You can't fake energy. You can't. And you can't fool energy. Okay? So the only way that they can do it is by breaking you down. Who you are. Who you feel you are. And your frequency, amplitude, and wavelength. Okay? So, the lie... How am I going to say this? Hold on a second. So there's a need to repair the wound of abandonment from masculine and feminine. Clear the karmic dishonor and disgrace. And awaken the co-creativeness through divine tantric energy. That's what Tantra is for. A lot of people think Tantra is just all sex and passion. No. There is a deeper transformative meaning behind Tantra, whether you practice it as a solo or with a partner. That's why they're consorts. No, my love. Okay? They're here to break that story that fate sets up, where the masculine energy gets stuck in the material, and the feminine is like, no, love. It's not the material. I know you take care of that. But it's also the nurturing love that you need to drive and manifest. See, masculine is so hell-bent on controlling the outcomes and controlling the output, that they're not understanding that they're ruining what they're outputting is not helpful to anyone. And they don't need to grasp for a material. They can manifest it themselves. And that's what fate has been making this repeat over and over again to show the masculine energy. 1, you need the feminine energy. 2, you don't need material outside of you. You can manifest whatever it is you want. Why are you making deals with outside people when you can manifest it yourself? You don't need to make these contracts with other folks. Make it with your divine twin so you can pull that energy in and you can bring it forth. But masculines don't like to wait. They're impatient. They want it now. They've been taught the fruits of their labor depends upon their money pocket. And that's what women are going to want them. Then you wanting the wrong fucking woman or the wrong mate that presents. The mate you should want should be on this twin flame level, understanding what a twin flame is, understanding what it means when you share your energy, and that's why you don't share your energy with just anybody and lay with just anybody, because that's an energetic contract you are making. That is a tantric contract you're making when you do that and when you engage in sensuality with someone. You don't do that with just anyone. The role of the Tantra is to be done in connection. Okay? It's not about performance. It's about presence. It's about surrender. Presence, being in the moment, in the now. Everything is in the now. You're moving that energy in the now to manifest in the now. Surrender. Letting go what no longer suits the purpose. I had said at this time, we are being called to let go of all the past, to get back to the real love of ourselves, of when we were a child and even began this love journey. You're going to find that you're being called back to that beginning of when you first started to love in the first place. And can you surrender all that pain, all those memories that pissed you off of what people did and didn't see in you and didn't invest in you? Can you let all of that go for the love now? And the love that's trying to come in for you now, can you forgive and say, freak it. Take it, love. I don't need it. I will start over new, with new memories and new shit where this is just a distant thing. Can you do that? Can you let the pain go? You don't need the pain. You just needed the lesson. Truth. Tantra is about truth. When you are in tantric union, and I said this before in a different video, you can't lie. That passion, that growing orgasm, those real emotions and feelings, you can't lie to yourself and to your partner. You're talking about when your wants really come out and come to fruition and come for people to, for your partner to see and feel. That's when your real lust comes out. That's when your real animus comes out, is then. You understand? So, you can't lie. Tantra is truth of you and what you're really feeling, what you're really experiencing. And your whole energetic wholeness. Tantra shapes that in various forms of meditation. Tantra shapes that. Okay? So, it becomes a sacred playground where your temples don't just unite romantically. They unite in a contract to co-create, co-heal, and co-ascend. Okay? When you're in union, in sacred union, you are a new person. Now, I'm not talking about you just go and lay with someone new. I'm talking about the ones you are energetically hooked into. And you have a movement together. There is a bond that you have. A contract formed. You will notice your chakras and meridians will move different. They'll open differently. Because that added energy comes in and helps you ascend. That's what your twin flame is for. both of you helping each other ascend higher, and that Tantra is the vehicle of the energy to integrate and commingle together. That makes you both even more powerful. Okay? So, the lie that keeps us trapped. So, the male has to get back to the female and ask for forgiveness and an apology. Okay? And it needs the twin flames to regenerate the system, to teach and show others what ascension, transmutation, and transformation does in love, but in union with other people. That means the twin flames show the soulmates. They show the soul flames. They show the twin souls. They teach all of those how to be in union, in unison. That is, if you want to call it holy, or that is divine. They teach and show everyone else. Okay? To rebuild the community as one. That's what the twin flames are for. So I want you to think of it this way. When you're learning to change and heal, you're on the journey by yourself. You should be. You should not be seeking out a romantic partner when you are on your journey to self-heal and your self-love journey. That is done alone. Okay? That is also the time when most people want to seek somebody, and I get it. And everyone I have worked with have not been happy with that. But I'm like, how are you going to teach someone else to love you if you don't know how to love you? No, my loves. Okay, wait. Heal you first. So you go through the journey yourself. When you're ready, you'll get someone that could be a soulmate to help you with something you need help with. When they leave, it's time for them to go. You're done with this. You're done with the lesson. You're done with the situation. Okay? You're done. So then you go, or you might get a twin flame. That means you are ready. You have gone as far as you can by yourself. So now you are ready to ascend with someone else. Now you're ready for union. Just like I told you, like the Buddhist monks, they learned for years and years and years on their own to control themselves. Let go of all desires and wants and devote themselves to their cause. And when they're ready, then they're allowed to practice Tantra. Once they have mastered self and realize there is no self, there's just one. Then they're allowed to practice Tantra, because in Tantra, that energy is a part of the one, the all. Okay? So the lies that keep us trapped. We are taught, and this is what I was getting. The lie is we can do it alone. There is no peace. There will be no peace until the male energy sets it right. There will be no peace on this plane until the male energy sets it right. You the ones who did it, you the ones that got to set it right. Okay? And they set it right by flowing, persevering through what's hard, having faith and courage to make it through, and that they're going to, using breath work to do it, which is also done in Tantra, balancing out themselves, paying attention to the synchronicities to know that they're on the right track. Okay? Those are the specific things that came forth that the masculine energy has to do. Now, here is what this leads to. All of this divine union leads back to the fact that it takes, as I said, it takes masculine and feminine energy to co-create in the first place. Okay? And when that happens, there is a flow and there's a peace that comes in. It's like when you see the couples that greatly understand each other and move with each other, and they've been together for 20 years, 30 years, 15 years, right? They've learned to give and take. They've learned to move and work with each other, flow with each other, right? Twin flames that do the same thing. That's the co-creative energy and nature of it. Okay? So, also, when one works, the other one rests. And this is what's been the issue. The male has not been letting the female work. It's been keeping it dormant. It's been telling it needs to stay asleep because I need to do. But the male's time has been over a long time ago. Now the feminine has to snatch it back and step out of their nature. See, it's off when the separate parts have to step outside of their nature and do what the other part does. And that's not slated for us to do. And then you see it trickle down into the 3D where you have couples complaining that feminines are too masculine. That's because we had to be to make up for the masculine that wasn't listening and refuses to heal. What are we supposed to do? Do you understand? That's why that energy is trickling in like that. Because the masculine is using ego and not wanting to admit they can't do it alone. They need that feminine counterpart. They can't even admit they're tired. And they were wrong. And they need their co-creator. That's all you need to do. So, we're taught, and this is the loop. This is the lie. We're taught that every time there's a fork in the road, we need to go to a higher power outside of ourselves. That's what we're taught. Now, how is that supposed to work? If fate is trying to teach the yang energy the proper way to manifest, and you need love for that, like Book of Thomas said, you need your emotion, the right emotion for that, right? How is the lie fitting fate? It's not. So if fate keeps making this repeat, so the males will see that they have the power within themselves to manifest themselves, or co-create with their feminine way beyond whatever just the masculine can do, right? If that's showing up, then how is it that we need to reach to a power outside of ourselves when we have that power inside already? Why is it that every time something goes wrong, church and all these other things try to make us reach for something outside of ourselves when they're already inside? Why are we not reaching inside to get inner standing? So the lie is that we need a higher power outside of ourselves. It has never been outside of ourselves. It creates the never-ending story that we're never enough. I must be saved. Divinity lives somewhere else, but not in me. Those are all lies. The truth is, we are the higher power. Don't believe me? Then why does it take us all to connect back to the all mind when we're the ones here gathering the information to take back to the all mind? We are all a piece of the higher power. It cannot exist without us. Nothing can exist if we don't believe in it. Do you starting to see the power you have? We are the builders, the co-creators, and we are the keys. Humanity is the key. And every being that is not human knows this. Hence why they try to keep you slaves so much. You are the key. You are the babies. You are the building blocks on which everything else is. And you learn the most, where these other entities don't. It has been these entities on the other side that has been keeping this lie going. And the other humans that try to control you have been allowing it. The information is there. You got the emerald tablets. You got all this stuff. It tells you. Right? The truth is, we are the higher power. We are the builders, we are the co-creators, and we are the key. When the masculine and feminine unite in truth, we remember. Let me talk about this piece. I was sitting up and I was thinking something, because I have been studying this for a minute. Okay? And I said, why is it even the toughest feminine or female When she meets that right male, or they or whoever meets that right male, there is automatically an energetic unlocking in our spirit that makes us surrender. That makes our vulnerability automatically come out without trying. That makes us softer without trying. It resets us to our original state before we were traumatized. It automatically turns on when that right mate appears. What I'm saying to you is when that right mate appears, our direct counterpart, we, the real, authentic person we are, switches on, turns on, and it can't turn off until a trauma or a pain or that person leaves. We automatically switch on. Hence why they try to make sure these couples never come together, because the powerful ones that join switch on and you can't turn them off. So if you're already clear, got all the clairs, and you already got that power, and you already see, and you already are moving, and you know, and baby, when that comes to you, you gonna turn on even more. And oh boy. And that's what they don't want. Then you remember a whole bunch of things start coming flooding back, and you start to feel who you are. You start to live in that power. Don't think that it's them who gives you the power. No, it's the love that sparked between you two that woke you up. Twin flame, twin spark. Okay, so the way back: energy movement, trust, surrender, and sacred seeing. Tantra is the way back. Okay, rebuilding the blueprint of creation through sacred breath and intention. Remember, I've talked about intention, so important for why you do what you do. And breath work is the foundation of Tantra. You can move anything with breath work. Walking the shadow with love to find the light together. When they come in, this is why you don't throw away the love and stuff like that. When they come in, okay, the light switches on. That's why you're to do your shadow work before. That's why you're to get ready. That's why you're to be in alignment. Because if they're not fully there, you help them get there by the love you share. And a lot of us are getting this now. Because not only is it time, it's necessary. We made contracts to be in these twin flame unions or soulmate unions. We made promises to do the work. Okay? We made promises to do the work. And we need that counterpart to help us do the work. We can't do it alone. If we can get to that state of loving on our own, we can. But otherwise, no, we can't. Okay? It's the path to return. It's the path to return to the all mind, the love that created us in the first place. I should probably call it the all heart, really. But it's to return to that. That's the whole purpose. And the twin flames is to show us what love looks like to get us back, to go back. The sacred contract of twin flames. As I said, they make an energetic contract to rise together, to heal together, to reflect each other's pain, to help each other heal that pain, how you do it. And they teach other people how to, even if they're friends or their family, they teach you how to be in relationship with other people in a positive, loving way that is in balance and peace. Because there's no place like home. Okay? So, understand, we are not waiting to be saved. We are waiting to remember we are already divine. What is it? And the twin flame union is about the return to sacred balance and cosmic purpose. We heal the world by healing our union, and that's by healing ourselves. Okay? We are not broken. We are builders of the new Eden. together. It is always about being together. We can't do it without one another. We definitely can't do it without love. But there is a reason for the twin flames. There is a reason. And it's a very, very important reason. A very, sorry about that, y'all, important contract. It is not to be disrespected. And your partners that did disrespect it and that left you, you get another one. Fate isn't happy about that. It's not. And you will notice fate is trying to put some of y'all back together. No. You're to move on to a new one. Because karma has been called and said enough of repeating this. They're not getting it. No. No, last time. So for some of you it is. But I wanted you to know the true importance of the twin flames. Why they are. Why Tantra is. Because it all makes sense now. It all makes sense. And that is why on the walls in India, those temples, you see the couples. There's a reason. Okay. There's a reason why the sutras exist. There's a reason why Yab exists and the Kama Sutra exists. There's a reason. Those are movements, and the movements of energy and how that energy is moved with breath work and what it brings about, what that particular position brings about an energetic change and enlightenment and ascension. It is not an undertaking to be taken lightly. That is why it's for the twin flames. That is why when a master chooses a consort, he has to be very careful who he chooses. Just like when you choose a partner. Tantra is not a practice to be taken lightly. It's an energetic practice. It's an energetic promise. And that is what twin flames enter into. Okay? Soulmates do too, but they have a different purpose. That is to get your soul into awareness of where you're supposed to be and where you need to be. And can they do the work of twin flames? Yes. They can. Some to a lesser extent, some almost the same, because it's not the twin flame. But it is a soul tie. Okay? And there are soul flames. But understand, again, Tantra, 1% is sensuality. That's all. Okay? And twin flames are not always romantic, but they do have a contract. They do. This is what it is. All right, my loves. I love you. I want you to understand. You were born with the answers already inside of you. It is your intuition that you need to listen to, balls to bones, to know yes or no. If you don't know if you're in the right position on your path, look to your intuition. Get understanding. The all is within you. Love is within you. Why are you looking outside of yourself? You have the answers. They just made you believe you don't. All right, my loves, I love you. Take care now. Namaste.